goes naked.
Please,
Let's go.
please.
We'll get an ambulance towards, mate, that's fine. Don't say Kiwi, you'll be picked.
Every kindness, laughter, manners, everything. Since the day he was born, with his little tricks, everything. No matter what anyone had asked him, it'd never be too much for Quhey.
He gave it all, 100%. Everything we did in the training sessions as well as the football sessions. And he cared about the team. Each individual player, you know, everyone looked up to him, you see. And that showed his character. There was a glow around him to say. And that stood out a lot.
He'd pick me up so we can go for food together. And he'd tell me I've got to do something first. I've got to go and get my brother's food. And he'd take me to the kebab shop and get like a kebab or whatever and some drinks and food, and then he'd stop at the station in Stamford. There was that homeless man there and he'd always feed him and things like that.
Everyone knows how bad London be with the people outside and people on the streets. He was looking for people to come with him to help him. He went and he got hoodies and hats and scarves and stuff. That's how good of a person he was.
There was a queue in there, and one lad, he went up to the thing and you could see him like looking a bit flustered really, and a bit sort of, and it turned out he was 70 pence short in his, so he was wondering whether he could buy the stuff. Quhey walked forward, you know, and gave him £1. So the young lad, that Quhey didn't even know, could buy his goods. And the young lad sort of said, oh, thank you, you know. It just so happened my wife was there and she saw it happen, and, you know, that showed his true kindness really, that someone he didn't even know was in a bit of a situation, and he kindly just helped them out.
Obviously, as his all brothers are strict on their sisters and never liked the fact that I was growing up. I could hear him creeping, most nights creeping up to my door. Then all of a sudden the creep would stop. He'd be listening at the door to see if I was on a phone. Then all of a sudden the door's open and he'd run, jump on the bed. Pretend he'd be hugging me and playing with me, but he'd be slyly looking for the phone. One time he was looking through the letterbox. Whilst I was sat at the side of the bed, there's a door in the room, and he was peeping through the letterbox. Caught me red-handed on a phone. Persuaded in black and blue he didn't see it, and he just started laughing.
Losing people is a very sad part of life, but losing a child, there is nothing else that can come close to that. It's the love and the passion that you have for your children, and somehow we have to carry on for the rest of the children and the rest of the family. But as a parent, me and my wife, we know, and yeah, it's we go there a lot, we visit it, and we just involve her in everything that we do. Christmas, Easter, everything, we still involve her. Yeah. Yeah, it just brings back a lot, because I know why I'm doing this, and it's fresh.
He was loving, kind, anything you wanted or needed help with, he was always there for you. Like mostly on a Sunday morning he'd come in, he'd go to the local bakery, bring back sandwiches, especially for Mummy. Mummy was his whole life.
He loved that life. It took his whole life away from him. This happened 10 days.
A birthday card. Quhey gave me. 10 days before it happened. And this is what I gotta give for my baby's 24th birthday. This is what I have from the morgue. Instead of his 24th birthday card, this is what I got.
We'll never be the same without him. Life will never be the same without him.
I don't understand why someone would want to do that to him. Like, he was the nicest, most caringest person I've ever met in my life. He had not one bad bone in his body. To help anyone that he could. Like, everyone always says about how helpful he was and how nice he was. No matter whether they knew him or they didn't, he had an impact on everyone.
An hour before it happened, he said, "Make the bed for me, Mummy. I'm coming home, I'll be home in an hour. Make the bed for me." That was his last words. That was the last words my baby said to me.
Quhey Saunders was returning home from a 3-day wedding in Wales. He entered the petrol station on the M25 to get some refreshments with his aunt, his uncle and a friend of his who was driving. Quhey had been drinking over a course of 3 days and he was very, very tired. He had rang ahead, he'd rang his mum and asked her to prepare a bed for him, that he was very tired. Upon his arrival there was a van there with the two accused in it. They left the forecourt of the petrol station, but whatever entailed, whatever conversation they had when they left the petrol station, they decided to come back. They returned to the station at full speed, going the wrong way around a roundabout, nearly causing collisions with other vehicles and having no regard for human life whatsoever. Just as they were entering the forecourt, they nearly struck a pedestrian. They pulled right up in front of the car that Quhey was travelling in, and to prevent them from leaving, they proceeded to jump out of the van and confront Quhey in an aggressive manner. Quhey first, I believe, tried to just fob them off, but they got more aggressive, so he felt he had to defend himself. He removed his t-shirt.
They questioned, I turned up in my motor vehicle to fill my car up with diesel at pump number 5. From pump number 5, I saw and heard an argument taking place.
It was 2 against 1. The driver of the car didn't leave at any stage. I believe he was very frightened. Quhey wasn't driving that day, he wasn't a designated driver. His friend was, he wasn't drinking. He made an 8.5-hour statement which was never used in court after either, you know. Quhey, they headed back towards the van. I'm presuming Quhey thought the argument was over by then, so he progressed to go into the petrol station. But what they were doing really was they were going to the van to retrieve a shovel and a builder's whisk.
As I left pump number 5 to walk into the kiosk, I saw the uncle being knocked to the ground.
After Quhey entered the store, they attacked Quhey's uncle, knocking him unconscious, and he was bleeding profusely.
Unconscious, he was wearing a pink shirt, and obviously later on, when I came in contact, had stains, blood stains on it.
Raphael Francis, the number 1 witness, had told me he at this stage was in the shop.
The people came in and out of the kiosk 3 times. The very first time, while I was trying to pay, I looked out through the window of the kiosk where I saw the victim, who turned out to be the boy who I went to help, hit with a shovel.
They then progressed to enter the store and they pushed his aunt.
And the auntie was pushed over into all the sweets and all the stands and fell on the floor. I helped the lady up off the floor, and at this time there was more shouting, more for like, please will someone call the police. This was by the the auntie.
It was relayed to the courts in such a way that Quhey and his aunt and his uncle were the perpetrators, that they had somehow caused this argument. They said that his aunt was screaming kind of in a way that she was trying to egg Quhey on, whereas Raphael has confirmed to me that it was in no way like that this lady was screaming for the police. She was looking for help.
Call the police, call the police. That's all the auntie was shouting at all the time.
Everybody at this stage had taken out their mobile phones to start videoing what was happening instead of ringing the police. We know there's a lot of footage out there, and we ask that if anybody has any of that footage to please in some way send it to even to myself on Facebook, Linda Byrne or Reardon, through a false page. Even it don't matter as long as we can get it. We have one, but we need more.
On the last occasion they came in, the two boys chased in the victim, and as they walked through the door I saw him hit with a shovel and he called out, "Help, please help me."
Now the CCTV that they presented, the prosecution presented, only shows one of them entering, but two of them entered. On Raphael's eyewitness account, two of them did enter, one first and then both together. So the second, say accused number two, as I call him, the man who would ultimately kill him, struck him then with the builder's whisk, and that's what caused as the pathologist in the case stated that it was a 10 centimetre laceration to Quhey's brain. It would have took brute force for this to have entered his skull, and as much brute force to expel it from his skull, which he did. It was not left implanted. He pulled it back out.
At that stage I knew he was in serious trouble because the amount of blood he was losing from his head, from the head wound. The young lad had breathing difficulties, and I needed to solve those problems, which I did by releasing his tongue because he had swallowed his tongue.
But he was perfect. Like, he could talk to you, but he couldn't talk to you. I was just waiting for him to talk to me. I kept talking to him. I thought he was going to talk back to me. Kept talking, waking up my Quhey, waking up my baby. Waiting for him to talk. And my child couldn't talk. And the nurse told me he was brain dead.
I heard the news that he'd been hit round the head and he was brain dead.
They both fled the petrol station after what they'd done. Raphael had witnessed everything except the fatal blow, but from CCTV footage we know that accused number two entered the station with the builder's whisk on him and left it with it.
They forgot to shut the doors and tools came out the van. They stopped the van, picked up some tools, which I believe one to be the shovel, which I'm certain that's what I saw the young lad hit with.
The shovel was never questioned whatsoever within the case. It was never found. As I said, from my own opinion, I believe they got rid of it because it contained DNA. When it was brought to court, the accused stated that he was in fear of his life, of Quhey. Now, he had ample opportunity to leave that petrol station. He had already left it and decided to return to it for a man who was so in fear of his life. When he went to the van to retrieve the implements, he could have left the service station.
My baby was killed in cold blood in the middle of daylight, where everyone could see. They got the murder weapon, they got the people that murdered my baby, and they left him walk free.
They killed him in broad daylight. They took him away from everyone.
This is me, Mikey COYLE, speaking here. I want to say on behalf of Quhey, I'm sorry for your loss and for your family. I wish them no death and no man. And what happened that day was an accident. Your son was a true warrior. He had the heart of a lion. And another thing, I never killed your son. I'm walking in today and I'm handing myself in. And I'm going to let God be my judge. Rest in peace, Quhey.
After doing the identity parade, which I picked out the two boys straight away, that was confirmed, and 3 to 4 interviews with the detective, Sergeant Constable Paula, and another detective, I was told that I was number one witness in this murder case.
Raphael was told from day one, you're the number one witness, you're needed here, take time off of work. He took 13 days unpaid leave, waiting to be called to this court. Every other day I would phone the Crown Prosecution Service up or the Witness Protection Service to say, I'm sitting around, when am I going to be required? As he said, he's already told me that he watched it from day to day on the internet, and from what he was reading, he was saying to his wife, this is not what happened, this is not what happened. This just doesn't tally up what I saw. What they were saying and what they were being told is different to what I saw going on. So he was kind of anticipating being called so that he could give a true encounter of what had taken place that day. And I was told, sit tight, Mr. Francis, we will let you know the day before for someone to come and pick you up from home and take you to the Old Bailey. On the 13th day he received a text message informing him that his evidence would not be needed and not to turn up at the court. Say, dear Mr. Francis, you have been signed off, you are no longer required to attend court. Both the prosecution and the defence had made this decision not to call Raphael or the other witnesses. Now, we want to know why. Your evidence is not required. I contacted 2 employees in the service station who also informed me that they witnessed what happened. They could not believe the result of this case, and that they also had received text messages informing them that the CPS would not need their testimonies. So that's only 3 we can account for. There was 30 in total, 6 testified, and there's 3 we can account for. And we want to know what the rest of them had to say. Because the 6 that were used, obviously, it didn't help the case. After the court case had finished, I received a phone call from Paula, the detective, to say that couldn't understand why this has happened, because she later found out that it was agreed that I wasn't going to be used as a witness from day one. I believe a lot of the evidence was withheld from the jury. From what they got, they should have at least got a manslaughter verdict. I don't know how they got this not guilty of anything. The only person acting in self-defence here was Quhey Saunders. I was never asked to take my red top off and hand it to the police. They tried to say that Quhey was a very strong, athletic boy. Yes, I admit he was fit. But he was no boxer like they're trying to claim. He'd work out. But the only boxer here was the perpetrator. He had titles. He held titles in boxing. Quhey's brother is a boxer. He was not there on that day. To me, it looked like it was a fight and the 2 young lads were determined to hurt him. I also wish to state that Quhey Saunders had no marks whatsoever on his hands that anybody would have if they were throwing punches. As I said, he was fending them off. He wasn't. His hands were clear. I have seen myself the photographic evidence of Quhey Saunders' hands as he lay in his hospital bed. I have seen corruption to an extent. I've seen a man get a life sentence on, a jailhouse informant's testimony, and I thought that was corruption till this This is just corruption to the highest degree. I've never seen it.
They never showed no remorse whatsoever. Nothing. Brother was murdered in pure daylight for no reason at all.
Family members have seen them. They've been on holidays in Australia, I believe. You know, they're not showing any remorse whatsoever.
They hit the van, they hit the instruments which I say caused the injuries. I just think it's all wrong.
The family liaisons officer at a couple of stages tried to comfort Quhey's mother, and she was told not to do it in case it was sway a jury.
I still feel like he's gonna come home. I feel like he's on an airplane. He's on holiday. He's still gonna come home to us. Just don't seem real.
While the CCTV footage was being played of the incident, she blocked her eyes. She closed her eyes because she couldn't look at this, and the judge instructed her to open her eyes. So then she blocked her eyes, and she was told to remove her hand from her eyes and to stop shedding crocodile tears. And he directed the jury not to take any remorse from what they'd seen.
It's just a shell left. Just an empty shell.
Where we are right now at this moment in time is we're trying to get it, as I said, re-entered into court. With the route we're taking there is for the inquest. To have an inquest into Quhey's death and to have the 30 witnesses either come voluntarily or be subpoenaed. Either way they're coming. To give the judge and the coroner their evidence. I believe once the coroner and a judge hear the evidence that was withheld from the central criminal courts, then that it could be re-entered. Now with double jeopardy they cannot be recharged, but if a coroner sees fit he can have a case re-entered, which is what we're going for, and I do believe we will get once this other evidence comes to light.
My last night with him, we was together all night. None of us could sleep, so at 5 o'clock in the morning we went to McDonald's to get McDonald's breakfast. And I remember sitting there. He was really fat, so he'd nick all my food as well as his. But I remember there was a spider in the car and petrified of spiders. And I started screaming. Wait, I can't. Calm yourself down. And I started screaming and panicking, and I tried to jump into the back, but there was so much in the middle of it. I was just sat in the middle screaming at him to get rid of it, and he was screaming at me to get rid of it, but I couldn't touch it because I was so scared. Well, honestly, he used to chase me with spiders all the time. Now, like, if I see a spider, I think, like, it's him. Like, on the day of his funeral, when he was getting laid, I felt some girl behind me touching me, and I turned around and she said, "I'm sorry, like there was a massive spider on you," and I just knew it was him. It sounds stupid, but
It's only it's very rare I sleep. When I do sleep, it's okay. Then when my eyes is awoke, I look for it. When a car comes in, I say, "Is Quhey? Is he in that car?" I keep looking, but I can't find him. I'm waiting for him every minute. I'm waiting for him to come back to me. That's all I see 24/7 is his face. I want to hold him, but I can't. He's just everything in this whole family. Everything. My Quhey is. Life will never be the same without him.
when we'd have a little bicker or whatever, he used to turn up outside my house and tell me to get in, and he'd make me sit and watch the stars. And he'd always tell me, "Jamie, like, lay back." He used to have like I don't know what it's called, a rooftop thing on his car, and you could like look, like put your chair back and lean up and like look at the stars. And he'd always say that to me just so I wouldn't have the ump with him anymore, and it would work. So my mum got a star made for him so that we like can always look up at his star.
And for other parents, there's 2 cold-blooded murders, let walk free. walk free to do it again. Please, I don't want any other family to go through what I'm going through. Because there's no words or pain. There is no words or pain.
Like, I miss him. I miss him so much.
We're the one that got the life sentence, not them. I'm looking at my brother in a grave. I was looking at them on a beach.
I can't describe the pain that I have.
It was 2008 time. We were raising some money about the headstone, and Quhey and his family just happened to bump into us really, and they helped us out so much. Without their family, we wouldn't have been able to get the headstone. It was, you know, that was the bottom line really, and we've never forgotten that and never will. And you know, I want to say thank you to them every time I see them, because you know, the kindness obviously came from the parents through to the children, and that was Quhey. That's Quhey.
It's not right. Quhey needs justice, and so does his family.
To save other parents going through this, please give me justice for my baby.
I wish I could just climb up to heaven. Just climb up, just tell him how much I miss him, how much we're all, how much we'll never be the same without him.
When I was in the hospital bed with him, I was lying on top of his chest for many hours. And I kept wanting him to please to talk to me. I thought he was going to talk to me. I lied for hours on his chest. And then when I woken up, I'd never dreamed, which mother had ever dreamed of what thing that this day had come to donate their child's organs. Quhey couldn't talk to me. But when I woken up, it must have been him that decided it. Donate his organs.
You have never done Quhey. Well, Quhey, one more flight. Quhey. No better way would he go and fight and have one more plane ride. Quhey.